If you have no credit score right now, lenders see you as a ghost. And that invisibility is quietly costing you real money. We're talking higher deposits on apartments, worse rates on car loans, and in some states, even job applications that get quietly rejected. One study found that borrowers with thin or no credit history pay an average of $200,000 more in interest over a lifetime compared to someone with excellent credit. That number is personal. Because if you're starting from zero today, that gap is yours to close or to ignore. Here's the good news. You don't need money, a loan, or a perfect past to start building credit. You just need the right first move. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which tools to use, in which order, and one specific number to keep an eye on that controls more of your score than almost anything else. Before you can build credit, you need to understand what you're actually building. Because most people picture a credit score as a report card, and that framing leads them to make the wrong moves. Your credit score, most commonly a FICO score, is a 3-digit number between 300 and 850. It doesn't measure how wealthy you are or how responsible you feel. It measures one thing: how predictably you repay borrowed money based on your track record. No track record means no score, which is sometimes called being credit invisible. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau estimates that roughly 45 million Americans are in that boat right now, so if that's you, you're far from alone. 5 ingredients go into your FICO score, and knowing their weights changes how you play the game. Payment history is the biggest slice, 35% of your score. Whether you pay on time is the single most important factor. Credit utilization, how much of your available credit you're actually using, comes in second at 30%. The length of your credit history accounts for 15%. The mix of account types you carry makes up 10%. And new credit inquiries take the final 10%. Two of those 5, payment history and utilization, together control 65% of your score. So when you're building from nothing, those are the only 2 levers that matter at first. Everything else is secondary. That's the frame for everything we're about to cover. Here's the part most people get backwards. They think they need credit to get credit. Secured cards break that loop entirely, and they're the fastest on-ramp to a real credit score for someone starting from nothing. A secured credit card works like a normal credit card, with one key difference. You put down a cash deposit, usually between $200 and $500, and that deposit becomes your credit limit. So if you put down $300, you have a $300 limit. You then use the card for small everyday purchases. Think gas, groceries, a streaming subscription, and pay the balance off in full every single month. The card issuer reports your on-time payments to the 3 major credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. After 6 months of consistent on-time payments, FICO has enough data to generate your first real score. 6 months. That's the timeline. Here's where the tension comes in. Not all secured cards are equal. Some charge annual fees of $75 or more, some tack on monthly maintenance fees, and a few don't actually report to all 3 credit bureaus, which completely defeats the purpose. The cards worth your attention are ones with low or no annual fees that explicitly report to all 3 bureaus. Discover It Secured and Capital One Platinum Secured are 2 widely recommended options for beginners. They report to all 3 bureaus and have upgrade paths to regular unsecured cards once you build history. One more critical rule: pay the full balance every month, not just the minimum. Carrying a balance doesn't help your score. It only costs you interest. Pay in full, every time. That gives you payment history covered. But there's still that second lever, utilization. And most people leave it completely unmanaged. Utilization is the one part of how to build credit that surprises almost every beginner, because the rule is counterintuitive. Lower is better. Much lower than you'd expect. Utilization is the percentage of your available credit that you're currently using. If your secured card has a $300 limit and your balance is $150 when the statement closes, your utilization is 50%. Credit scoring models, both FICO and VantageScore, want to see that number below 30%. But here's the part that catches people off guard. The research consistently shows that people with the highest scores, typically above 750, keep their utilization below 10%. Let's put that in concrete terms. On a $300 limit, 10% utilization means carrying a balance of no more than $30 when your statement closes. That's not much. You could hit that with 1 tank of gas. So the practical approach is to use the card for one small recurring purchase each month. something like a $25 streaming subscription, and set up autopay for the full balance. Your utilization stays tiny, your payment is never late, and the card is essentially running itself. Now, one thing that trips people up: your utilization is measured at statement close, not at payment due date. So even if you pay your bill in full every month, a high balance on your statement date can temporarily hurt your score. The fix is simple. Make a payment mid-cycle, before the statement closes, if your balance is climbing. Bringing it down before that snapshot is taken keeps your reported utilization low. This one adjustment, actively managing utilization, not just paying on time, is what separates people who build a good score in a year from people who still have a mediocre score after 3 years. If you have a trusted family member or close friend with good credit, there's a way to accelerate your credit building that costs you nothing and requires almost no effort on your end. It's called becoming an authorized user. Here's how it works. Someone with an established credit card account, ideally one that's been open for several years with a perfect payment history and low utilization, adds you to their account as an authorized user. They don't have to give you the physical card. They don't have to let you spend a single dollar. The account simply gets linked to your name and social security number, and the full history of that card, every on-time payment, the available credit limit, the age of the account, gets reported on your credit file. The result can be dramatic. Some people go from no score at all to a score in the 680 to 720 range almost overnight, simply because a parent or sibling added them to an old, well-managed card. That's the equivalent of years of credit history, appearing on your file in weeks. The risk is small but worth naming. If the primary cardholder misses payments or racks up high utilization on that account, it can hurt your score too, since you're sharing the account history. So this strategy works best when you genuinely trust the person and know their card is well managed. And if you don't have someone to add you, there's a second option for building history that doesn't require anyone else at all. And it works differently from a credit card. A credit builder loan is built specifically for people who are learning how to build credit. Not because it gives you money up front, but because of what it does to your credit file. Here's the structure, and it works backwards from a normal loan. You apply for a small loan, usually between $300 and $1,000, through a credit union, a community bank, or an online lender. Instead of receiving the money, the lender holds it in a locked savings account on your behalf. You then make fixed monthly payments, typically for 6 to 24 months. Each payment gets reported to the credit bureaus as an on-time installment payment. When the loan term ends, you receive the full amount you paid in, minus any interest and fees. You didn't get money at the start, you built savings and a credit history at the same time. Self Financial is one well-known online provider. Many local credit unions offer them too, often with lower fees. Typical monthly payments run between $25 and $35, making this accessible even on a tight budget. And by completing a credit builder loan alongside a secured card, you're now showing the credit bureaus a mix of account types: revolving credit from the card and installment credit from the loan. That mix, even as a small factor in your score, rounds out your profile faster. The strategic combination looks like this: secured card for utilization and payment history, credit builder loan for installment history and savings, and an authorized user edition if you can swing it. Working those three together gives you the fastest path from invisible to scoreable that exists right now. But once your score starts moving, there's one mistake people make that can erase months of progress in a single afternoon. You've worked for 6 months, maybe a year. Your score is climbing. Then you do one thing that quietly sends it back down. And it happens to almost everyone the first time they feel financially confident. That mistake is applying for too much new credit too fast. Every time you apply for a new credit card or loan, the lender does what's called a hard inquiry, a formal check of your credit report. One hard inquiry typically knocks your score down by about 5 points. That's manageable. But if you apply for a retail store card, a new credit card, and a personal loan in the same 3-month window because you finally feel ready, you could stack 15 or more points in drops. And on a young credit profile that only goes back a year or so, 15 points is a meaningful setback that takes months to recover. The fix is simple. Be deliberate. Once your score crosses into the 670 to 700 range, which is generally considered good, you can apply for your first unsecured card and use it the same way you used your secured card. Space new applications at least 6 months apart. And when you get approved for that unsecured card, don't close the secured card. Closing it shrinks your available credit, which drives up your utilization, which hurts the score you just worked to build. Keep the old account open, even if you rarely use it. Let's pull this together so you leave with a clear action plan, not just information. Step 1. Get a secured credit card that reports to all 3 credit bureaus. Put down your deposit and use it for one small recurring purchase each month. Step 2. Keep your utilization below 10% of your limit, under $30 on a $300 card, by paying in full before or right at the statement date. Step 3. If a trusted family member has a long-standing, well-managed credit card, ask them to add you as an authorized user. Step 4. Consider a credit builder loan through a credit union or self-financial to add installment history and build savings at the same time. And Step 5. Once your score starts rising, space out any new applications at least 6 months apart, and never close your oldest account. 6 months of consistent habits gets you a real score. 12 months of consistent habits can get you into the good range. 2 years can get you into the very good range. And at that point, the interest rate difference on a car loan or a mortgage puts thousands of dollars back in your pocket over time. Now that you understand how to build credit from the ground up, the next thing that quietly trips people up is debt. Specifically, paying it off in the wrong order and costing themselves hundreds of extra dollars in interest. That's the next video to watch right here on Plain Money. If this one helped you, hit subscribe so you don't miss it. Give this video a like so more people find it, and drop a comment below telling me your starting point. Whether you're at 0, rebuilding after a setback, or somewhere in between. I read everyone.